Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Epsom Downs here on Friday. It's the 31st of May, 2024. It's Oaks Day from Epsom. I'm going to look at the Oaks and the Coronation. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And join me tomorrow for my Derby preview here from Epsom. But it's a good card today. We're going to look at races 3 and 5, the 310 and the 430. Let's get to it right now. The third race, the 310, it's the Group 1 Coronation Cup. It's a Group 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $565,000. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. 5 horses, but a proper Group 1 quality group of 5 horses going 2,400 meters or the mile-and-a-half trip on the turf course. Going to take the 3-horse Luxembourg as a top selection. 3-1-4 for me in the Tri-Calves Trifecta. 3-1-4 Tri-Calves Trifecta. Top selection 3-horse Luxembourg. This 5-year-old horse by Camelot here. Ain't O'Brien trains. Ride Moore picks up the mount. The horse has run a little subpar as of recently. He ran most recently off the bench in the Group 1 Dubai Turf at Maidan, a mile and 8th and 30th of March. Trip was too short. The O'Brien horses seem to not so much fire in Maidan and Dubai, I've noticed. He finished 14th by 29 lengths. He just never got into it. It wasn't the day to win. I think coming here to a slower paced mile and a half where he could be forwardly paced where he likes running with, I think he could turn the tables today and finally get his first victory in nearly a year, just over a year actually. 2 back he ran in Saudi Arabia, 24th February, a mile and a quarter in the Group 2 Neon Turf Cup, and he finished 4th by 1 3/4 lengths that day, and he just never really got going that day. He just kind of plodded along. The Winter Spirit Dancer had the jump on him, but this horse, he ran his heart out that day. He ran terrifically before that in the Hong Kong Cup at Sha Tin, a mile and a quarter on 10th of December. He finished second by nose. If he had a better poster, he probably would have won that day, but he stalked all around the race course. He had a great turn of foot. Romantic Warrior, like I said, just had the jump on him, was an next-star winner. But this horse, he ran his heart out that day. And then prior to that, in the Group 1 Irish Champions at Leopardstown, a mile and a quarter, 9th September, he finished second by a half a length that day. And he was with them early on. Augustine Rodin caught him that day, was a next-star winner at Santa Anita in the Breeze Cup Turf. But this horse, he really ran his heart behind him that day. Not a bad race. If this race was a mile and a half, probably would have won, but, Augustine Rodin, won the better horse of the season last year for O'Brien, probably his best horse of the season last year. And then prior to that, at Ascot off the bench, mile and a half in the King George. He finished second by 4 lengths that day. And again, he's with them early on. The winner in Mustafa Daf, again, pardon the mispronunciation of the horse's name, really ran a terrific race. There's not Smith-Daf, that was 2 back in the Prince of Wales, excuse me, wrong race. In the Prince of Wales over the mile and a quarter, Royal Ascot, he placed behind Mustafa Daf, who, just caught him late, but he ran his heart out. Like I said, I think he's just a better mile and a half horse than he is a mile and a quarter horse. Back to a mile and a half today, I think he can win. I'll use him on the ticket. I think the 1-horse Feed the Flame for Christian Demuro, coming in from France, get a good trip to win. Completely kind of opposite kind of a horse. He comes from a little bit behind for Pascal Barry, for a colt by Kingman here. His most recent race came in the Prix Guinée at Longchamp over the mile and quarter, where he finished third by neck that day, and it was an all-out finish. Haya Zarak just had the jump on him, so a little bit closer. Really ran a terrific race, but this horse ran well behind him. He needed the race in the Prix de Harcourt before that, where he finished 5th by 7 lengths, never really getting the trip. And in the Arc, he just never was really comfortable, but he had a decent place in the behind Fantastic Rock in the Prix Niel, where he gained a lot of ground. And then prior to that, in the Grand Prix de Paris, he won by a length, and he had a very wide trip, but he really put on a show that day. Refreshing here today at 5-1. Quadbot begins with this race. I would definitely use him there because I think he'd get a piece of it. So let's use him there. But to recap my selection for the 310, the third race from Epsom, it's the Group 1 Coronation Cup. Going to take the 3-horse Luxembourg. Give kudos to the 1-horse Feed the Flame. 3-1-4 Tri-Calves Trifecta. 3-1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 5th race now, the 430, which is the Group 1 Betfred Oaks. It's a Group 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse $698,500. Race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 12 horses going 2,400 meters or a mile and a half on the turf course. Going to take the 3-horse Azela as a top selection, or Azlaya. Can't speak, pardon me, it's been a long day. I haven't had enough coffee yet. But Azlaya, 3-year-old filly by Dubawi here. The Aga Khan owns this one. Dermot well trains. It's Hayes coming in from Ireland to ride this horse. Most recently, they ran the horse at Navan on the 27th of April. A mile and a quarter in the Group 3 Salzburg Stakes, and the horse won by a half length that day. And again, he didn't have a lot of forwardly pace. He doesn't have a lot of forwardly pace and doesn't break so clearly. But she broke somewhat clearly that day. But she sat back early. She slowly moved her way into the race, and when she got to the front end, she took off clear for a 3-year-old debut. I didn't think it was a half bad race. Coming here with a very good post drop, definitely should stay the trip. I think this is the kind of race for her, and I think she could get a good trip to win here today. Two back, she ran in a maiden race at Cork, a mile on this 26th September. Took her 2 starts to break the maiden, but she finally did that day, winning by a length, closing up from nowhere. Didn't have a lot of forward pace early on, but she slowly moved her way into the race. She quickened up nicely, and she got the job done. Probably wasn't even extended that day. That was a very good race there. And then prior to that, a Leopardstown on debut last August, 7 furlongs in Philly's main race, finished 4th by 5 3/4 lengths. She didn't break that day. She was very wide, and she just, and she was also running over a trip that she really didn't appreciate. She never really got into it. It wasn't her day to win, but since then she's really improved a lot. I think she goes up a lot with a 1.5 miles today. She's drawn very well. I think this horse could find the trip to win. I'll use her on the ticket. I think the 6-horse Rubies in Red for Wayne Lorden and Aidan O'Brien in the Coolmore group could win also. 3 Felipe Galileo here. Most recently ran the horse over the 1.5 miles at Chester in the Chester Oaks trial there, where she finished 2nd by a half length behind You Got To Me, who's running back in this one today. This horse, she just kind of stalked all the way around the race course and sat back behind the back all the way around the race course. She moved a little bit late, maybe just not 100% cranked, but I thought she got around the race course well. I think refreshing back to a 1.5 miles, she should finally get a good trip to win here today. Another horse that's run very well. 2 back at Leopardstown, 1.25 miles in Philly's main race. She finished 2nd by 3.5 lengths that day. And again, she was with them early on. She had the lead. She kind of got overtaken late by Gallo Dam, who just had to jump on this one. But she ran her heart out in her seasonal debut. And then on debut at Galway last October, 1 mile in Philly's main race, finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths that day. And, she sat back early. She moved a little bit late, but I thought she needed some more. She's definitely improved with every single run. She's still maiden here. It would, be kind of cool for her to break the maiden in the Oaks here. I think she has a strong chance of winning. Let's use her on the ticket. And I also think the 11-horse Lang Lang for the Coolmore group, Ryan Moore's on this one for Aidan O'Brien. In the Guineas last week, or a few weeks ago at Newmarket, this horse ran horribly. She finished 5th by half a length that day. And she sat back early. She moved a little bit late, but I do think the mile was just a little bit too short. Another horse, I think she goes up a lot with the 1.25 here today. 2 back in the Group 1 Fillies Mile at Newmarket over the mile. She won by a half a length that day. And again, she sat back early. Not the best of trips, but she grinded it out to the wire. Very good performance there. And then prior to on the Rockfell, she finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths that day. And again, she didn't get a good trip that day. She was just a little lackadaisical. But her last 2, she ran okay. I shouldn't say she ran crap in the Guineas, but she ran okay that day. Like I said, if you go off of that run, she wants a 1.5 miles. She's going to get it today. She's going to have to overcome a wide poster. She's 12 of 12 here today, but she has the ability to win here. I'll use her on the ticket, but I think Rubies in Red is a better value than this one, and I think she'll find a better trip from the inside, but it's going to be a very exciting Oaks this year. But to recap my selection for the 4:30 now, the 5th race from Epsom, it is the Group 1 Betfred Oaks. Going to take the 3-horse Azalea. Give kudos to the 6-horse Rubies in Red and the 11-horse Lang Lang. 3, 6, 11, Tri-Cast, Trifecta. Use all 3 of them in the quad pot. I think they have a strong chance, all 3 of them, to win here. So, good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for my Derby preview.